Welcome, everyone. My name is Patrick Nazareth. I have around 30 years of teaching experience and I'm here to help dispel your doubts should you have any. We are going to look at how to write emails. This is a companion piece to how to write letters because we don't really write letters that much or that frequently, but we do write emails. The most important part, the first line, the subject line. It gives your first impression. You have to grab the reader's attention with your subject line. Therefore, the subject line has to be effective. You have to be very specific. Whether you're talking about a meeting, you have to reference what the meeting is about, what is the request, whether it's leave, whether it is budget review, whether it is salary, anything, it has to be very specific. It has to be in the subject line. The information that is required, you still have to put it into your subject line. It has to be very clear. So, you write whether it's action required or whether you require by a particular date. The subject line under 50 characters. Concise, clear, catching the reader's attention. Do not write in all capital letters unless you think it's absolutely necessary. And even then think twice. But never under any circumstances, leave it blank. There are some subject lines which should be avoided at all costs. Do not write hi, do not write hello. Don't put the forwarded message, forward. Don't write important. What is it important about after all? Read this immediately, you're threatening somebody? No. These sort of lines must be avoided. Right. Once you're inside the email, the professional tone has to creep in because mainly you're writing professional emails. Therefore, dear Mr. Patel or dear Mr. So-and-so or hello Miss Singh, if you know that person slightly better, maybe he or she is your colleague. Hi Rahul, if you have a comfortable relationship that is established with that person, a friendly but a professional relationship, or simply good morning or good afternoon when it is time sensitive or when the person you're speaking to is not known to you. Being semi-professional works as well. Hi Priya or hello team if you're doing group emails. Things to avoid, of course, using the word hey. You're a professional, it's not done. To whom it may concern, this is a phrase that is finished. Do not use it. Dear sir, madam, if you're writing an email, you should be able to know whom you're writing it to. As far as possible, try to avoid this. Unless you actually don't know that person. If you're too lazy to research or too lazy to find out about that person, and you simply send dear sir, madam, not done again. The entire email is structured for clarity. You must be very clear. Let's take the first line. Get to the point immediately. The person you're addressing is a professional. Professionals are busy. The most important thing for them is time. So your openings, I've given you some over there. I'm writing for so-and-so, or following up on this meeting, or thank you for your email regarding, or I hope this email keeps you well. They're examples, but you get what I'm coming from, right? You must avoid long introductions. Hi, I'm Mr. So-and-so from so-and-so department of so-and-so company. No, that's not the way to do it. Unnecessary apologies. Do not say that I'm sorry to bother you, or I'm sorry to put you through this, or I'm sorry for this letter I'm writing. No, you do not do that. And vague statements. Do not write something, somebody. Who are you talking about? What do you want to talk about? Be very clear. The body paragraph, very important. Your body paragraph should never exceed more than 3 to 5 sentences. You don't need more actually. The breaks that are given, the line breaks, use it generously because the white space between the lines allows the letter to pop into anybody's eyes. That gives your letter more effectively. If you clump all your lines together, that effectiveness is lost. Therefore, use bullet points for lists. You write bold key information. You can make your letters bold if the information is very important, but use it very, very sparingly. You have to number steps 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, you break complex information into digestible chunks, not one long, huge sentence. Short and sweet sentences that a person can read and understand one point at a time, one line at a time. How do you close a letter? Be professional. Easiest thing to do, best regards, maybe kind regards, sincerely, thank you, or best. Basically, you're looking to end in as few words as possible. Look at the examples, not more than 2. Do not write stuff like cheers. Do not write send from my iPhone or send from my Android phone or send from Samsung or whatever, because this is sent by default. You must know your mobile phones enough to at least remove them, right? Thanks in advance, don't. You're expecting that person to do something and you're thanking that person in advance. Why? You think that person is simply waiting around to do your work for you? No. Or ending with multiple exclamation marks, as you can see. At the end of your letter, there should be your email signature, which is your business card. Everything that the person, the reader, requires to know about you should be there. And you can always copy paste that, or you can always attach it to your letter. Most letters give you the space to do so at the signature. There are other optional additions like listing the company website or the office address. Whatever you want to put in, fine. But do not play around with fonts. Do not use multiple colors. Do not put in large image files because they're difficult to load and look at. And do not use personal social media, never in professional emails. Avoid all inspirational quotes. They are extremely unprofessional. You would have noticed CC and BCC when you're writing the addresses in. Some of us don't understand what is CC and BCC, but how you use them is very important. CC means carbon copy. In other words, maybe the information that you're sending out needs to be seen to other people. So you carbon copy that person. You send CC. Do not overuse. Don't send it to everyone that you know. You should not be doing that. And you should make it very, very clear why those people are CC'd. For example, if you're sending it to all the teachers in your school, your class, it's obvious why they're CCing, because you are sending something that is required to be read by all of them. You're running a sales team, you're sending it to a sales team, you CC it to everyone. Or if you're a junior member, you're CCing it to most of the senior managers in your team. Now, what is BCC? BCC is a blind carbon copy. In other words, copy of the letter that you have sent to that person, he or she is not able to tell whether you have sent a copy of the letter to somebody else. So why is that used? It is used when you're sending it to a lot of people so that privacy is protected. You are sending it to different parties. They who don't need to see who you have sent it to. But you never use it to secretly copy someone. Doesn't need to see that. Maybe he's just your friend. What difference it makes? But if he's not from your team, he's not relevant to the process, there is no need to send it. These sort of things are unethical and not done. Now, you are always a part of a group in a company. There is an etiquette where you do not use reply all, because when you say reply all, it goes to everybody in that particular email group. The email group can be of 10 people, 50 people, or 100 people, where it goes to all. Therefore, this is not done. Only you use when everybody needs to. Don't just say thanks and send reply all. No. Be cautious, because by mistake, you can send sensitive information this way. You have to understand something. An email doesn't show tone. It doesn't show body language. Therefore, if you're short and blunt, sometimes a person might take it as understanding you're being very aggressive, or maybe he or she thinks you're very rude. You just have to be professional. You don't have to be stiff. You use contractions professionally, like I'll or VR or whatever. Use one exclamation point, multiple, not done. Emojis, avoid totally. Unless, of course, you are in a company that has no problem with emojis. For example, Alphabet, the parent company of Google, will have no problems with it. But if you go to a company like Tata, for example, you cannot use an emoji. How do you manage a difficult conversation? Never send emails that are angry. You first draft your email, you pick it up later, you review, and then you decide whether you want to send it. If you really have a problem with the person, you don't understand the thing, pick up your phone, talk to him, or arrange to meet directly. And if you must email, never become emotional. Never do something that might anger, hurt, or harm the other person. Now, mostly emails are sent with attachments. So what are the best practices we can use while using attachments? Always use clear names. When you save something on a computer, it gives it a generic name, like for example, a document 1, docs, or perhaps presentation 2, which is a PDF. But you have to be clear that suppose, for example, you're sending something, a presentation, like on a school project, mention it. Say volcano presentation, or perhaps you can say Anjali resume. Be very clear. It should be mentioned so that when a person looks at the attachment, he or she knows exactly what he or she is opening. As far as possible, attachment should be under 10 megabytes. If you don't want people to edit your documents, use the PDF format. And before you attach images, compress them. And you have to write inside the letter what attachments you have put in. Please find attached and list out whatever attachments you have done. As far as security is concerned, never send passwords in the same email where you have sent encrypted files. And be careful of people who use emails to get sensitive information out of you. Therefore, never open emails or attachments from people you don't know. And before sending it out, always scan for viruses. Unfortunately, certain mistakes are all too common. The first major one I told you, reply all. Second, you forget to send the attachments. You're mentioning in your mail you're sending attachments, you forget to send it. Then you have typos. You have autocorrect errors. You're typing something, your computer autocorrects it, it becomes something else altogether. Your work email is professional. You do not use your work email for personal business. You do not send vague requests. You must be specific. What do you need, when you need, how you need it. You don't write long novels. If your email requires scrolling, it is too long. A person opens an email, he or she should be able to read it immediately. That would be the ideal length. If it has to be too long, make a phone call, set up a meeting. Don't use passive aggressive language where a person doesn't understand what you're trying to project, whether you're trying to project anger or whether you're trying to show you're very upset, what it is all about. You say, as I mentioned before, it sounds condescending. Per my last email, this sounds passive aggressive. Just following up. See, in today's date, many people don't reply to emails. Suppose you send a request that people don't want to do anything about. So not replying to an email is nowadays considered a polite form of saying no. You're welcome to send a follow-up request, but if they do not reply to the follow-up request also, you can understand that you need to drop it. They're not going to do anything about it. So there's no need to feel bad, there's no need to feel hurt, move on. Also understand, today's date, all of us use smartphones. Most emails are read on the mobile. In fact, a study says over 50% of them. Again, the same things. Since a person reading on a mobile, it's difficult for him to see the whole thing. So, what do? We front load important information. You use shorter paragraphs. You keep subject lines under 40 characters. You place calls to action early so that a person can look at them and understand what he or she needs to do. You should see how your email looks on a mobile before sending important messages. Because sometimes when you use a computer and a person opens it on the mobile, you have seen for yourself how the email gets jumbled up and it's a little difficult to read if the fonts don't match, for example, or the spacing breaks don't work. So what are the email writing principles? What do you need to do? Firstly, the purpose of writing. Do you really need to write this? What are you writing it about? Be clear. You know whom you're addressing, so focus on what you want that person to understand. If you're sending out one email, use it for one topic. Don't send a same email on different topics. For example, if you're sending it to a classmate and you want to discuss a cricket match you're going to do and the test you're going to write the next month, you send out a separate email for a cricket match, you send out a separate email for a test. You must edit. Cut out all unnecessary words. If you're using 10, try and cut it down more. If you're using 100, definitely cut it down. You must be professional and you must be consistent. You have to maintain the same level of voice. In other words, throughout your letter, it should read the same. And of course, whenever you are in doubt, delay. If you're unsure about anything you're writing, wait. Allow yourself to cool down. Allow yourself to think again. Come back after an hour. Read it again. Then you'll be better placed to understand where you've made a mistake and then perhaps you can send it out. Pause the video. I've given you examples there. Please look at them. That's the guide there for you then. I do hope I have been of help. If I have, do remember to like, share and subscribe. Remember, there would be others who would be requiring our help. Thank you so much for watching.